Good afternoon. Welcome to another podcast from Traders Community. A very slow Monday to what everyone's been happening, and some people may be thankful for that. So welcome punters, dribblers, traders, and investors. Remember, hit the like button, smash the subscribe button, and all that good stuff. Remember, not financial advice, just discussions of what we're seeing, what we're feeling, what other pro traders or heavy traders may be doing, trying to navigate through the maze. So we got the glorious Madavi here, and we have Fighting Johnny somewhere around there as well, doing good stuff in the penny stocks last I heard. So here we are. Today was pretty well, as the way we summed it up, trying to find something, it was all about Elon Musk on Twitter, with the guy from the CEO from Twitter. So Musk was on Twitter, and they were going off on Twitter, obviously making it public, many different theories. We basically have had the view from day one that he's way overpaid for it. Since then, you've had the stock market collapse. So I think a lot of dribblers always think their stocks are worth a lot more than what they are. Before the Nasdaq even got wrecked, that thing was $30. So in my mind, as a trader, the guy gave you a way out over 50. So people got greedy. As far as that goes, those complaining about it all. I know what you got to complain about. That aspect that he's seeing, either he needs to get out and he's realising it's cost him a fortune. He doesn't want to dick with it after all the crash he's got. Or he just wants a lower price. What's your thoughts, Madavi?
What's that?
What's your thoughts on the whole Twitter Elon Musk thing? I know you've been catching up with Johnny Depp, but...
Yeah. I wasn't tuned into the gossip channel.
You seem to like that. Okay, what do you think on a serious note about this?
He's trying to get a discount now. Why not?
Do you think he's getting a discount or just trying to get out of it?
I think he's trying to get a discount. I think he uses that for his commercials and advertisement. So I think it still makes some. There's still a good upside there for him. And plus, he'll take it private for a year and flip it back out in a couple of years when it's good, makes billions.
It's going to be interesting what happens. Now, the other Twitter war is being Jeff Bezos from Amazon, who, if you recall last week, Biden, I believe it was, came out and directly attacked Amazon with some... bodgy numbers. We all know that those are actually are actually awake. That Amazon's last report was almost a loss, and a lot of that to do with Rivian. But the relevance of that is the big profit before, and so it's come back with. He's like, hang on, I'm not talking about unions. All this inflation was caused by you guys, etc., etc. Then Sanders weighed into it. They're all involved. So it's pretty bloody obvious. All this stuff is just a constant blame game from this administration. And I don't really like getting in politics, but it's pretty black and white. Particularly the whole oil and gas thing. It's just like, give me strength. And on that, as we look at, there's a picture someone sent us from Elon, from his office, by the way. Those asking what that is. So it's pretty black and white, really. What's going on as far as energy goes. You can't shut down a whole business, castigate, and then expect them to somehow out of magic. Doesn't work like that. We saw that with those LNG promises as well. That's pretty scary enough, but when you got a country partisan divide, heads up their proverbial, you can get away with that, right? And that's also going on with those Twitter wars. You can see that at the end of the day, Musk and Bezos, whether you love him or hate him, you shouldn't really do either. I think they're number 1 and 2 richest people in the world, right? Unless that French guy's in there. I really can't keep up with that. You keep up with that, don't you? But at the end of the day, they know a little bit more than a dribbler that's sitting during his lunch hour on Twitter. Anyway, here we are, 113.89. We got over 114 on WTI, 114.80. Natgas had another run over $8. It's just trading underneath there right now. Russell 1782, S&P just around 4,000 at 4,004. We have we can hear Johnny working a deal on the penny desk over there. We have Nasdaq at 12,239. Good 240 handles over the magical 12,000, but it is off about that looks like 200 from the high, and we've seen Vol come back quite a bit, 27.85. As far as oil, so let's have a quick look. There's not a lot to see. It was a slow day, and when it's like this, I tend to stay away from it, and I'd advise that. You don't want to overtrade. You don't want to get slippage, and sometimes it's good just to work out what's happening. So what we basically had on Thursday, Friday, as remember, this FOMO bounce was very oversold market. We couldn't quite get to tanking, which is interesting. We kind of expected that. And we didn't test this low here on the S&P. So that's your daily. There are your levels. You want to see that play out. Weekly, nothing really to see. We can see accelerated. And again, you can see that breakdown level at plus 1/8. If we go into Nasdaq, anything, none of us really trade too heavy on futures today to fit in. That's a 5-minute. We probably want to look at the daily. So here's the daily. You can see a mirror image almost of the S&P, but even weaker. Any thoughts on the Nasdaq, mate?
Well, I came back in and put back on the size that I had because I think the market's going to go lower. So I'm probably full amount short right now.
Right.
It was kind of choppy.
Okay.
Yeah, and just to reiterate backwards, like last Thursday morning, we took profits on S&P and Nasdaq and the dribbler stocks. Some of the dribbler stocks we also sold puts in. So on those waves is when we take profit. We don't just blindly stay short or long, FYI. So we use mathematics and all that sort of thing. Sometimes you keep some on that are really difficult to get into, so you'll go through a bit of pain on these sort of markets, so you size accordingly and what's your leverage. Okay, we don't just blindly stay short or long, FYI. Somehow that link came through, so you can see what's going on there. What's it look like on a weekly? So weekly they're kind of the mirror image. The scary thing for this market, I would think, if it just waterfalls back down right after a day or two. And we're going to talk about the things that can do that. Or it bounces. So if you're a bear, you actually want it to bounce, unless you're, total crap, just to get more people along, right? So you want these kind of moves is what we're saying. So like, for example, the reverse and the top side, you wanted this kind of move to get the bull market going. So now we've totally changed, obviously. Let's look at energy. Natty, you can see, and oil, you can see both at big highs. The weekly got above, remember, on Friday we mentioned it got above the tanking, and look what happened. It's run, what's that, Madabi? 6 and 4. What's 6 and 4? $9.
Yeah.
So, right, that's quite the pump, right? So that's why you look at those, and what those things are is basically resistance. It's where supply is, right? Where people have to buy or sell, whether they're short or long. On daily, we're coming up in all this supply from back in March. So it needs to get above this to get going. And this is all no man's territory if it gets up here, right? So your support's pretty clear. The plus 1/8 there, and you can see all this work here, and the cloud's quite a way below. Okay, on Nasdaq. What do I always call Natty? Nasdaq. Natty had its weekend. You got a lot of flows there. We've talked about, and it's all on that intervortex, and all the other stuff on oil is on around the barrel, and there's also an FX bulletin put out in Traders Community. So do yourself a favour, look at them more in depth on that. But you can see we've got this pennant forming here, and again, this is a 305. Keep it that simple. If we look at the daily, you can see it more clearly. Again, look at that, over the Tankin. It came down and it got up, gave you a chance. See how it opened lower and then ran up. Okay, let's look at some stocks. As I said, we didn't do too much today. We're going to look at some, well, let's have a look at bonds real quick. So you saw yields come off to their lowest for quite a while. You can see that here.
Open that up. It'll take you
This so these yields here from early last week, but you can see we're consolidating here. This means bonds up, yields lower, and here for those who are more comfortable with the yields, you can see we got up to 324 on the 8th. Here we are over a week lower, and we are back down to 898. Two factors there. That's a combination of lower growth concerns and a little bit of safe haven. And that can be backed up by the money flowing into the energy sector, even though today we did see some going to the big cap stuff like Apple. Okay, let's look at some stocks. So where did we put all them? Maybe it's on this one. Where did I put? Yeah, so Tesla's one. If we're talking about Elon, we got to look at Tesla, obviously. So one theory is he's going, you know what? When I was buying this, my stock was worth bloody $1,200, right? Whatever it was, $1,100. The cynical is it gave him an excuse to sell it, but you can see where it is. It's now back to the low from February. It got down to under 680 today, so it didn't bounce too much. So there's that argument, right?
Yeah.
And then you got Twitter today. Well, actually, let's look at a daily to put that in perspective. So at the end of the day, right, well, let's look at a weekly. So at the end of the day, this thing was getting wrecked, right? He comes out with his bid, that's this. So this was down here, actually, $28-30, right before his bid. And then we got the bid come in at, this is where he disclosed he had some. And then we had the takeover bid. What was his price? 54. We corrected here. I'm not sure why, but you can see for all the dribblers that are bagging him, he basically got the stock up. If we were to compare this to other Nasdaq stocks, it would be down here, right? If this doesn't happen, let's just be black and white. So today, well, firstly, last week he said, "Look, I need more time to look at this. He needs more information." Continued on that diatribe today in his feud, as we talked about. So, what does it do here? What is a fair price, Madavi? Just looking at this, I mean, is it around here? I mean, does he just, if he pulls a bid, what's it worth? I mean, because bear in mind, if these, sorry, man.
Party should have waited about 6 months from now. He could have got the stuff for a lot less.
Yeah, probably in the teens. But here's what he's highlighting. If all these numbers are bullshit, which what most of us think in social media, exaggerate advertisers, that brings down that whole sector that are obviously overvalued, and most of them don't make money. I mean, Facebook makes money, but they got their issues. But you got that little dating thing called Bumble. I mean, there's a lot of these things way overvalued. Pinstrip, and so it's putting a spotlight on that. So Snap, of course, is another one, right? So it's going to be interesting how this plays out. Let's look at Amazon. So I still rate this trade as one of the great trades. When Amazon, Mr. and Mrs. Bezos got divorced, they flogged how many billion up here? Up here. And so it was signaling, hey, probably not time to be in it. Same as those Fed guys selling their stock. So even Elon selling his stock, right? He's done a great job of selling it. But look where we are now, 38 down to almost 2,000. We're at 2,200. So this gives you an idea how out of touch everything is. Whether you like Amazon or not, we all know that doesn't seem to treat their workers that good, but they give a ton of jobs. They brought down a lot of costs. So it's not just about tax, right? This is what... But they don't care about that, these politicians. They got over 50% of Americans do not pay tax. They got a massive partisan divide now. So they just want that element to hate the other side, whatever it may be, and you get it both ways. So that's really what's going on. Anyway, so let's look at this chart. So Amazon came down and tested this breakup level from April 20. You can see what it did, right? So we tested that. So there's potential for all this stuff to hold up, but not. So this is either going to be 1, 2, 3, ABC, if you're a mega bull, or this is 1, that was your top. This is 1, 2, we're building a 3, we do a 4, we do a 5, we just keep going, into this sort of stuff. What was the other chart you want to look at? Was it Apple? I think it was Apple, right? So Apple's broke down its weekly a week ago, and you saw as it broke 150, it cascaded. We have bounced back, trying to test the lower end of this. It got to 147 and change today. But you can see it's got a lot of people. So all this stuff is what people are in, because people just follow other people. So they're in Apple, they're in Amazon, they're in all this stuff, all those dribbler stuff. That's what we call them at. But here's where the real damage has been in this nonsense, crypto. So this is one of the better ones, being Bitcoin. So Bitcoin got down, and the question is whether this completed the first wave down. There is a bullish possibility here mathematically. This is an ABC, but low probability. It got down to 24 or so, and we are back at 30. If you look at the hourly, you can see more clearly what's going on. Let's tighten that up. So you can see it broke this it gave you a nice plus 2/8, actually plus 3/8. It smashed all the way down here. This recalc, by the way. This was minus 4/8 at the one second. And you can see it's correcting all this. So this is a flag, usually a continuation pattern. So Madavi, you've been watching this more than me, like Luna. Describe that Luna. We have a dog called Luna.
The Luna was 110, and now it's down to, 00344 is where I bought it. Now it's half that price.
So basically 100 to 0 is what you're saying. So that's the risk out there. And that can happen in stocks as well, punters. I mean, stocks that aren't real. But just think how much money that took out of the market. Half a trillion or something has gone from the crypto markets very fast. Now, a lot of people, for a lot of people, it's just funny money, right? $100 here and there. But there's quite a few people that, I mean, you don't know what's true or not, but put serious money into this, mortgage houses, and all that, So, and it lost it so quick. Anything I've ever seen. Some of this stuff was in a day, 100% a day. Huh?
That's the stable stuff, so that was the good stuff.
Well,
Luna was a good one. A good one?
Well, it's supposed to be the stable coin, right?
Oh, so Luna was a stable coin. I thought that was Tether or something.
No. It's the stable coin. It's supposed to have been pegged with $1 or something. So I'm glad that we're in stable.
Yeah. What's the unstable one? Minus?
I don't know. I would hate to be in it.
So just a caution on all these cryptocurrencies, they don't have the backing of like a company's earnings, or as Madavi said many times, gold is a physical asset, oil is a physical asset. So bear that in mind. It's all nice and dandy if you hate the government and everything's a freaking reset, or the Illuminati and all this sort of stuff. But it's all pipes and dreams and usually pumped by people on the other side. Also remember, Bitcoin has 5 or 6 whales. They control the whole thing. So keep that in mind. That's what I know about. Now, all these other stocks, other coins, it might be just 1 or 2 whales. I don't know. Madavi knows more than this, more than me.
They back it up with basically stablecoin, right? And it was the cryptos they use it. So if the cryptos are tanking, and that's supposed to be pegged to the dollar, but you're backing it with cryptos, it doesn't really work too well, does it?
No, 100%. So that's the myth. I remember we had a podcast on that 4 or 5 months ago, and I said there's no way it can work. And people were arguing with me. Not you, but others. And I'm like, well, fuck. And lo and behold, look what's happened. And the scary thing is with all these things, when everyone rushes to the exit at the same time. Like if we looked at some of these stocks that we've mucked around in, just look how fast these things, like here's ARKW. Look how fast they go up. Yes, this is extreme. So you know it's manic, but this time it was different, we were told. But look how fast they come down. Look at this thing.
Love it.
I mean, well, here's the same. Here's the hang on. Well, Firm's another one of these stocks, right? But on this first, a lot of the people that bought these punter and dribblers, are the same people who are in crypto. So keep that in mind. What was that?
Carvana. That's another one of my favorites. Today.
Oh yeah, Carvana. That's well. Let's look at Firm because we watched
MSTR. That's another one of my favorites.
Well, yeah, that basically follows Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And
so
it started out good, but it's not treating me so nice right now.
So here is a daily on a Firm. So if you remember, they beat earnings last week, but it's run into the daily Cajun. So it's telling you where everyone is. If we look at the 10-minute.
Well, look at the highs of this, and this thing hit over $25
today.
You're way up there now, and ended up down on the day. Check out Carvana, and it went to 46 and closed at 38.
well, so look at this Firm though. So it did a double top, which tells you there's supply. And it could be options related, who knows? But here we are, $3 down. Now, this is where you got to be careful with FOMO stocks.
Hey,
because nothing's really changed. Sorry, mate?
Hey, imagine if you were in this fucking Firm at $35, right? Last week, this thing was at $13, right? And now as we turn to $25, what are you going to do? You're going to go, I'm out of here.
Well, a lot of them just hope that it keeps going up, so they actually don't get out until the end, right? You know that story.
Been going down from $100, $200.
Oh yeah, but it's like you mentioned the other day is the one we just looked at. ARK, there's still people putting money in. What's Carvana's stock again? Symbol CA.
Which one?
Carvana
is CVNA.
Yeah, that's right. So that's a dribbler special. I mean, the master dribbler was a big fan of this.
But look at it. That was, I think, $380 stock.
Could be. We're bringing it up here.
Not that high, if I believe I'm right.
Hey, Michael. It's
well, actually, it went even higher, 380. And look, that just dribbled down like a bad sore, right? So that is just, this is a weekly chart. Wow. So 8/8 to -3/8. That's pretty well wholesale destruction. If we look at a 10-minute chart, so it's bounced with all the dribble bounce. That's what we're officially calling Thursday lunchtime. There's the dribble bounce. Is we got 28 straight up to 46. Went sideways there between 37 and it actually hit a new high today. Got over that high and failed. That's what we call a spit. That's what we look for. And you can see just dribbled down to $38. So on a day like today, that's nearly $10.
I will talk to you.
That
Right.
was a good one. I was telling you about this, mate.
Yeah. That was a good trade. So there's a lot of this out here. And so look, if everyone's out and they're not all long, there's hope on the upside for these to do more. And you never know how these correct. But at the end of the day, most of these companies. So don't make the mistake of saying, "Oh, this was a $200 stock or a $300 stock," whatever you're looking at, right? If it doesn't have earnings, it doesn't have that, and all the overweights above it. If they need to raise money, you got to keep them all in perspective. Look at them different. There's a reason why energy stocks are going up. One is they're making money. The environment suits them. But they're going to be a time too where they're going to be way overvalued, right? Who knows? They may be now. So you see a lot of smart money coming off, particularly with what's going on politically and all this sort of stuff. And it depends how you read Musk. But if he's just basically saying, dude, this company's a piece of shit, I don't really want it, and he's just trying to get out of it, there's a good chance of that. So heed what these people are successful are saying. They don't need to say it. Well, he's in a takeover, but certainly when you affront them, and here's what's interesting with Bezos, they wouldn't have expected a pushback because he's WPO, and whether he's generally of that environment, of that mentally thinking, I find it hard to believe a guy that rich is all about stealing himself. Obviously, he's not the way he's pushed back. There's obviously a political ploy. So there's an old saying when they turn on themselves, like all lefties turn themselves or righties turn themselves. You saw that a little bit with the end of Trump with the righties. When the lefties, you're seeing it now. But what you'll find is in the United States, and I've said this many times, the true lefties get screwed. So in America, you got what's called champagne or Chardonnay socialists, i.e. super rich people just do it so they can talk about it at cocktail parties or whatever, make themselves feel better, rather than generally helping, the poor, etc. So you see that play out, so you get what you deserve, basically. We've said that many times. And that's what's going on. Just think what's going on. And it's all a bloody show, right, Madavi? So
Yeah.
It's all a show. They don't really care about the little man, which is very unfortunate. Like Biden's trying to push the union thing. Like, he helps the worker.
Look at Somalia, for example, right?
Oh, I saw that today. They're going back to war there, right? So I must have missed the news on that. You like your CNN and all that. What's happened in Somalia? Did anything new, or was it just another?
If you remember, Trump pulled out those troops after a bunch of them got killed up there.
Yeah. So why are they going back?
Well, I guess they're saying ISIS is on the rise.
Well, Somalia is kind of they got the pirates.
They got out of hand. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, but it's not. The reason I'm asking, it's pretty obvious. Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, it's oil. Somalia, yes, it's the shipping there. But they've got the navy for the pirates. But is it just another distraction? Or is it just a chance to make more money for the... I don't know. Well, the reason I'm saying so cynical, these guys haven't exactly shown to be looking after people.
I mean, I just think they're going up there to more troops, To
get them out, to justify getting more troops. Okay.
Yeah.
Could be.
I mean, hey, last time I checked, when those tanks came through Syria, they just didn't come from the desert. They came from somewhere. And it happened to be Libya.
Okay. I see what you're saying. I see what you mean. It's for something else. Okay.
Yeah. It's all connected.
So here's what I don't get, and fill me in. So I've always been led to believe that it's only the extreme right, or extreme communists, extreme fascists that are all into war. But all I see in America is the supposed left wing, just total warmongers. Am I seeing it right, or am I missing something?
It kind of switches, right? You got to remember who was the big slavery guys back in the South. You know what I'm saying? It kind of the parties, I think, switching within itself.
Right, but here we are in 2020. I just find it incredible.
I think the Republicans were more into the wars and stuff, but I think now switched over to the Democrat side a little bit.
Well, they all seem to like wars, but this one's pretty full.
Whenever it comes to war, both parties vote the same. I mean, it is
it's the whole patriot thing. I get that, but this is just non-stop war. Is what I'm trying to get to. That's all I've seen from the moment the guy got in. This guy, Biden. I think it was day one they did something in Syria, and then non-stop, right? But it's a sad indictment on the times and the world that is living in some bad crap. But anyway, let's not go on too much about all that. Yeah. So let's on the week ahead. So let's look at that. You got your weekly on Traders Community. If you do yourself a favor. It's all on there the whole week. You should have a plan on macro and micro. You're not going to get any better anywhere else, let me tell you. But you should know all that. So here's today's dribble on all the markets. What everything happened. We saw gold have a bit of a bounce. US dollar base pulled down a little bit off that 20-year high. But anyway, after hours, did we... hang on. Give me 1 sec. This might be yesterday's. So anyway, what we're getting is we got Fed guys talking this week. So let's look at the roadmap ahead. You got your boy, our boy Jerome, talking tomorrow about inflation. And this is all on this. Let me make sure we got this right. So yeah, here we go. Sorry about that, punters. So we got Jerome Powell, everyone's favorite banker, right? So he's talking tomorrow, the Wall Street Journal Future of Everything Festival, whatever the heck that talks about. It's a Q&A session, so no doubt it's going to get a lot of questions. Tomorrow, we had Williams today. Tomorrow we also got Harker, healthcare as an economic driver. Mester, Cleveland, she's going to talk about central bank inflation monetary policy. Evans, economic conditions, monetary policy. Wednesday, Harker again, economic outlook. Who's this bloke? Cash carry on Thursday, he's going to talk about inflation. So there you got all that. Earnings-wise, remember we're coming to an end of the earnings season, so we'll look at that in a sec. But what do we have out in economics? So anyway, you've got Walmart and people like that starting to report low, big earnings week. So keep an eye on all that. Tomorrow we have retail sales. It's going to be a big number. Industrial production, capacity utilization, and housing. So we're going to be back at, are they going to sell it if the economy's too strong now, right? Raising rates. Or are they going to hope to hell there's some strength to survive it? Going to be interesting, Madavi, how it all plays out. I mean, you've got oil, $114 WTI. Natural gas, $8. I mean, what happens in winter if it's still up here? Or what happens if it's really hot and you got to blow your air conditioning?
There's going to be a lot of cold or hot Europeans.
Well, I'm not just talking about Europeans. I'm talking about U.S. They are U.S. prices I just gave you. Henry Hub and WTI. Now, I live in Texas.
I got solar.
Yeah, you got solar?
Solar power.
Oh, solar. Right. But that's for your house. Where are you going to drive? What's petrol over there right now?
Oh, I'm just going to have to switch to a electric car.
Yeah, I know that's not going to happen.
I'm getting my new motorcycle, and that's gonna be electric, so that should be good.
Well, aren't you electric? Talking about petrol, the reason I use that word.
Fly high, so I don't even have to worry about traffic, nothing.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I'm looking forward to that picture, and maybe we'll share it with the punters and dribblers. The dribblers are going to love that one.
Yeah.
So, on petrol, petrol is outside of America. That's what we call gasoline here. The rest of the world calls it petrol, if they speak English. So anyway, in Sri Lanka, the Prime Minister or President, I can't remember if he's a Prime Minister or President, I apologise, came out and said they've run out of petrol. So I don't know if you've been keeping up there, but they've been rioting there. They're running out of food, they're running out of petrol. And the danger is that sort of thing can happen here or elsewhere. We saw Black Lives Matter a few years ago, like 2 years ago now. I mean, people get pissed off, and if they're pushed a little bit for political reasons or whatever, or just generally, man, you can't eat and sleep, and the government wants to control you or take your money. That's the sort of thing that happens. So, you never know. You never know. That's our little bear tip for the day. Anyway, punters, dribblers, traders, investors, make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe. Any questions, just hit us up. You've got those bombs coming out in the market. You got the earnings, as we mentioned. There's not many, but basically...
What?
Well, we had Take-Two today, earnings, but that used to be a massively traded one, but it was pretty thin. So anyway, on your weekly, you got all this stuff, all the charts. Be familiar with them. Remember that it was the currencies and bonds that predicated these big moves, right? And so it's all there. Currencies, but you need to know it. So tomorrow you got JD.com, which is a Chinese one that we've all traded before. You got Walmart, Home Depot, and Macy's out tomorrow. Next day you got Lowe's and Target out of the retail, and you got Analog Devices, Cisco Tech. You got Thursday Kohl's, Ross Stores, and Kohl's on twice. Wow, that's interesting. We must love bloody Kohl's. AMAT and Palo Alto for tech. And Friday's got John Deere, which is, they call it an agro-tech now. It's, it's really retail in many respects, but agro-tech. And Foot Locker, which is obviously retail as well. Do you still get all your fancy gear from Foot Locker, Mado? I don't think I've seen it in Houston.
What's that, mate?
Do you still buy all your sexy clothes from Foot Locker, your new sneakers?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I don't think I've ever seen it in Houston.
I order my stuff from Nikes.
Well, so is Foot Locker in California?
There's Foot Locker everywhere.
I've never seen it in Houston.
Oh, really? There's a Foot Locker in every thing, but Foot Locker don't like the brand new shoes and everything, like the Nikes stuff. Foot Locker doesn't really have it. So if you want the really good stuff, Foot Locker's like kind of like a secondary.
Yeah. So over here, it's all Dick's and Academy.
We had Dick's up here. Now we got Chicks. Dick's went to Chicks, right?
There's a story there. It's not here. It's called Dick's here. That's the name of the company.
Oh, really? It was Chicks, and Chicks ended up converting to Dick's. I mean,
I don't know if you're having a bit of fake news there or not.
It sounds weird, but I'm saying it's the truth. That's what it converted
So the company's still called Dick's, and it's called Dick's because that's his name, right? It's an unfortunate name, but
it used to be called Chicks before, and Dick's bought them all out.
Oh, okay. So there was never a Chicks in Houston. If it was, it would have been a strip bar. I can give you the tip.
All the Chick stores became into Dick's, and they don't even sell, like even Dick's don't even sell like the brand new. Like if you want brand new, got released from Nikes, you got to order it. Very few stores have it in inventory.
Yeah, I think if you're after something like Nike Air,
no, just like the Nike. I like to buy like the Nike.
Yeah, you go to Nike.com, right? So
yeah, I just call them up, and whenever they come out, I tell them to send it to me.
So anyway, in a long story short, do you still get all your stuff from Foot Locker, other than Nike?
I barely go Foot Locker anymore.
I don't think I've ever seen one. They're famous for the black and white shirts, though, right? The Empire shirts.
Yeah,
Is that Foot Locker? That's Foot Locker, right? So
no, they're famous for the zebras. The referee outfits.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant by umpires, referees. Yeah.
The zebra outfits. You call them zebras. They're little stores. Most Foot Lockers are like little teeny stores.
Oh, okay. So they'd be interesting what their earnings are. Maybe it's not even worth worrying about, right?
I mean, no, actually, that store moves. I guess they do well. I mean, I've seen it move before. They're like you go in a mall. They're probably like the one of the little like not kiosks, but like a little store, not the big huge ones.
Right. Cool. Well, so we got lots of retail this week, and that's kind of the.
Oh, cool! I mean, Macy's is gonna come.
Macy's is out. Kohl's, Walmart.
Oh wow!
All those good ones. So some of them get just ripped in half. Some of them get up because it's all relevant to whatever their outlook is. That's the main thing in all these companies, outlook, right? And how beaten down they are. But we're seeing a lot of air came out of the market and it's going back in at the last few days. Anyway, punters and dribblers, thanks for joining us. Like, subscribe, and we'll catch you later. It's going to be I expect to be more active day tomorrow and the next day.
Yeah, let's hope so.
With the Fed and stuff.
Take two, like it started out good, But that Take-Two fucking ended up bad.
Yeah. So I didn't even bother bringing that up, but they did report today.
It was good. The first one was nice.
Yeah, the software company. Yeah, there was a good bounce there from 2 to 10.
It was over 10 points. That was a nice bounce, but that was kind of lucky timing it because I know how these things trick around.
Yeah. So that should move tomorrow. So that's going to be a gaming stock. Obviously, is a gaming stock. It's going to affect Activision and EA and those other sports companies, gaming companies. Okay, peeps, catch it. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you another.